Okay, so we are recording. So welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast. Josh Wade.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sam.
No problem. Cheers for coming on. And we've got all the cameras set up now, haven't we? And we've got technology is on our side now, hopefully.
Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully now.
Hopefully the phone won't fall over.
No.
So firstly then, so I first heard of you because of your win at the Winter Spine Challenger. That was last year, wasn't it? Yeah, 2022. Yeah. So I sort of kept an eye on you since then, of your progress and watching what you've been up to and everything, and all of your podiums and everything. And I saw that you did very well last weekend, didn't you, at the Eiger Trail where is it? Where is the Eiger?
In Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah. I was going to say Switzerland, but I didn't want to make myself look stupid by getting the wrong. But for people that aren't like fully aware of your background, who you are and everything, could you sort of give us a bit of a background on how you got into trail running and ultra running, and you go back as far as you like, as much detail or as little detail as you want to give, sort of thing, how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. So I spent quite a bit of time in the hills, like doing out with a big pack and stuff like that. But then I thought it would be better to move faster, and so I started doing some short fell races. And then one of my friends had texted me that I did a bit of running with, and he was like, "Oh, well, do you want to do this ultra?" And I'm like, "Yeah, too right." So it was in the North York Moors, and that was the first one. It was 30 miles, but it's really painful, and the nutrition and stuff didn't go well. Lack of experience. I had a really tough day, but then it was one of them, you finish it, it's like, actually, that was really fun. And then I haven't stopped since then, and that was in 2017, I ran that ultra. And since then, I've just been loving the journey, really. And just running's just become a massive part of my life since then.
So have you always been sporty then? You were a runner in your younger years and anything like that?
No, I wasn't a runner. When I was a kid, my dad used to take me out fell walking a lot, but no running. Little bits, but nothing. No, nothing major.
Do you think that sort of background in having that outdoor experience of walking on fells and everything from a young age, do you think that's put you in good stead with with the types of races that you're doing now? Because some people come into ultras because they're fast and they're road runners and they start running trails and stuff, and other people come in from like a walking background, and I suppose the transition's easier, isn't it, if you're already got quite a bit of fell experience.
Yes,
full start.
For sure.
Think that sort of helped with the races that you're picking?
I reckon so, yeah. A lot of hills in the legs, and you're in zone one a lot of the time, hiking and lugging a pack around and stuff like that. So yeah, I reckon so. I've worked outside for a long time as well, and manual labour. I'm a gardener, and when I first left school, I did like a little bit of tree work. So I was feeding chippers and doing log splitting, and then I moved into gardening. And I think all that as well helps. Manual labour, just being on your feet and working all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also like being in the outdoors, with the Spine Challenger, it's like, well, you're working in rain and stuff like that. It all helps, right?
Yeah, you used to being outside, being cold and wet and miserable. Yeah,
being wet and miserable, and it's all connected.
Yeah, that's it, and ending up in a pub eventually.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. So where are you exactly based then? I know you're in the Lakes, aren't you? But where are you?
I'm in Kendal, actually. I'm about 15 minutes from Kent here.
Yeah. So what's your sort of usual like weekly routine for training, as far as like do you stay local or do you just go further afield?
No, it's mostly Kent here, but Helvellyn I use quite a bit. Helvellyn quite a lot. I like Helvellyn. You can get a lot of elevation around there. You can in Kentmere, but not as much if you go to Helvellyn. But most of my training is Kentmere.
Mm. Yeah, I love Helvellyn. That's the only race I've done actually in the lakes is Tour de Helvellyn.
Really nice.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it's such a that's it's a great route that is. And
Yeah.
I went back. I couldn't do the race this winter, so I went. I was driving south from Scotland for a job, and it had snowed, and I got my running gear with me, and I was like, right, I know where I'm going. I'm going to go and see if I can have a little run up Helvellyn. So I
Nice.
went, what's the over the back? I would say it's the back because it's the back to me from the race. So as you race towards it,
Yeah.
what's the back? The
Thirlmere.
back side? Is it Thirlmere? Is it that side? Yeah, parked there and went up straight up there.
Nice.
Up,
Yeah.
and it was all.
Yeah.
It was like -15 at the top. Someone told me that. I don't know how they knew it was -15 at the top. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was cold, and I had all my gear on, and I had a trot around in the snow, and there was plenty of people up there. I was surprised, like the amount of people that were still up there, even though the weather was pretty harsh. So you've got some great local fells and hills to run about, haven't you? There.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can get some good elevation in. And there's also
what's your sort of routine then as far as mileage? So you're targeting like 100 Ks and 100 miles, aren't you? So what's your training look like for that then?
For the 100k that I've just done, I had a block between like 100 and 115 miles for about 3 weeks. But I'm probably the same for the Snowdonia as well, the 100 mile. And I'm going to do UTMB in 1st of August, and yeah, if everything goes smoothly, I'll have the same block, like 100 between 100 and 115 miles a week.
What kind of elevation are you getting with that as well?
The elevation depends. It can change quite, like average, like 15,000, but I've had some weeks like 25,000 feet. Yeah, so
proper mountain training.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to.
That's awesome. So is that sort of typical of your you coach yourself then, do you?
No, Kim Collison.
Oh, Kim Collison. Yes, I've interviewed Kim. Yeah. Great coach. So is his approach, I'm just trying to think of when I spoke to him, is it similar to how he trains himself? Is he sort of transplant that that sort of, I'm trying to remember the type of training he was doing for the stuff he does. Does he sort of transpose a lot of his training? Do you see a similarity between his training and yours?
I'm not actually sure how Kim trains most of the time, but I think so. Because I'm going to focus a lot. One of my weaknesses is road running, so we're going to focus a lot more on that later in the year after UTMB, and try and work on the road running side of things.
Have you got a race that you're sort of aiming to do then as a goal for that, not a road race?
No. Just going to do like a block of road running, and then work on the flat speed sort of stuff, and then get back to the hills later in the year. December.
Have you got anywhere around there that's flat enough?
Yeah, I found one place. I've been doing a bit of training with Joel Jameson, who he's does quite a bit of flat running, and he trains on 11s, which is completely flat. He's all I get is 12 feet of uphill to get back to the car where I'm parked at this little pub. It's literally that flat, 12 feet over like 11 miles or something.
Wow, that is flat.
It's just a road that you can just see for about a mile, and then it goes mile right and then a mile. So it's great. I've been going there.
That's ideal.
And then it's ideal. It's great.
So is that sort of a weakness that you've sort of figured out yourself, or is that something you and Kim have worked out that you need to focus on that?
Yeah, because most of all the stuff I've done is really in the hills, so it's like, well, let's try and work on some flat speed.
That's actually what that's just reminded me of the conversation we had when I spoke to Kim. He was saying that sometimes he's so focused on hilly stuff because of where he is that he has to purposely put in like a roadblock to sort of get his speed back. So obviously that's something that'll work for you as well. So what's your sort of your goal for going into UTMB then? Because you've obviously had that great result at the Eiger. How's training going to sort of work into UTMB then?
Yeah. Well, I feel quite recovered actually from the Eiger. I recovered quite well. I ate really well. I had one McDonald's.
You're allowed two. You're allowed two McDonald's after a race.
Yes. Normally it's like, right, McDonald's on a Sunday, Domino's Monday, and then a Nando's Wednesday, and then I might start eating healthy again on Thursday. But this time it was just McDonald's. I was like, right, I want to get back into the nutrition now, and I've slept well as well. So like the recovery's gone really well.
That's good. Sometimes that's the eating's kind of the easy bit, isn't it? Sometimes once you've got your appetite back after a couple of days, but sleeping's not always easy. What do you do you find it hard to sleep after a race?
Yeah. A few nights after it's quite hard, but then this weekend I've been like falling asleep in the middle of the day and stuff, which I think is quite good.
Ideal,
because your body needs it, doesn't it?
Yeah. You listen to your body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I feel like I might have caught up on my sleep now, which is good.
That's good. So tell us about that race then. How did you sort of go in there? Did you go in with a plan of what you were going to do, and how did it turn out how you wanted it? Well, obviously turned out how you wanted it to a certain degree, but how did you sort of focus on that race, and what was your expectations going into it?
Yeah, I was going in by feel, so I didn't really have a plan on this one. So I thought I'd set off at like a hardish pace, not too hard.
Sorry to interrupt you. What is the route and the distance and elevation then exactly?
Yeah, it's 101 kilometers and 6,700 meters of elevation.
Yes,
and I set off. It felt comfortable, and I was with Mike Derbyshire for quite a while. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
And we were chatting away, and there was a beautiful sunrise, and we were just we shared a lot of miles actually, and then
what time did you set off then with that race? What time's the start of the race?
4 a.m.
4 a.m. So it's not like a midnight start then or anything.
No, it's really nice. So I only had the head torch on for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then the descent's really long, like not what you used to here. It's like really long descent, and then did a long climb, and then Mark stopped to go to the toilet probably at 40k or 35k or something, and then I dropped into halfway, and then did my support. I had my brother and Mel supporting me. Mel supports me every time, and put my headphones in, had some food, and then I was like, okay, right, let's try and put in an effort. So I was managing to put in a bit of an effort going up the hill, and I passed someone then going up the hill. So I think now I was in 4th, and then going up this long climb. You know, I did the Monte Rosa Sky Race with Kim a few weeks ago, and there was 2 other guys there, British guys, and one of them lives in Interlaken, which is not far from this race, and he was out supporting, which was awesome. He was at the top of the climb, he was clapping me on, going, well done, Josh, and all this. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. So he was like, you're in 4th, and 3rd is like a couple of minutes ahead. So I was like, okay, cool. So it was got to the top of the climb, long descent back down to this place called, I think it was Wengen.
And Wengen,
yeah. I was coming into there. They were on like the microphone and said that I was 1 minute behind 3rd. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have to put in an effort on this hill. So I'm going just set off out the checkpoint, and then I set off out, and there's another long climb, and I can see him, and he is putting in an effort. So I was like, right, I'm gonna have to put in a real effort. So I'm giving it some on this climb, and I must be catching him. And just near the top. Well, I'd run out of water at this point, and there was like marshals somewhere on the route. I'm like, is there any water around here? It's like 20 minutes to the checkpoint. Like, phew. So I knew I was close, and I was gaining on this guy, the 3rd place. I've forgotten his name actually, but I managed to putting a spurt and overtaking just near the top. So, and then I was giving it some, and I got into the checkpoint, and I had to fuel the drinks, because I ran out of water. I had to put an electrolyte tablet in, then I had some oranges, and then I looked around to see where he was, and I couldn't see him. I was like,
Gone.
Where's he gone? I think he's had me, and I could see a guy running off. I'm like, no! So I'm legging it, and then I couldn't see this guy at all, this run out. So it's like on my mind now: is this guy took me in the checkpoint, or was it just some runner out for a run? So I got to the next aid bit, and I'm like, what position are I in? And they said third. I'm like, all right. Okay, so I was in third. He was still behind me still.
So who was the guy running then?
Just some random guy, I think, out for a run. And I don't know where he'd gone, because I couldn't see him. It was like, is he past me or is he not in the checkpoint? And then I got to the place, and I was like, oh, they're in third. So then I was able to keep pretty strong actually to the end. There was a descent, so you do the Kleinschneider, which is from that checkpoint where I overtook that guy. The next checkpoint's Kleinschneider. I hope I'm saying that right.
Well, I ain't got a clue what it's called, so it could be for all I know.
And that was the last place I'll see my brother and Mel. So they fueled me up, and you do this climb up again, and then you do the most amazing descent under the Eiger. Wow, it is absolutely amazing.
I've seen pictures of that.
Oh, it is so good. It's like you're under the north face of the Eiger, and the trail is so nice as well. It's totally runnable. So I was able to open it up basically because I felt good. So I was able to put in an effort, and then I got into a checkpoint there. I was like, how far second? Because I thought I now might be gaining on second. So I was like, how far second? They were like, I think they said something like 14 minutes or something. I'm like, oh well, we'll still try and put in an effort. But anyway, as you're coming down from there, you can see the finish, and you can hear the mic and everything.
Oh, really?
And then they send you off on a 10K loop. So you think
you think you finished and you haven't.
If you'd blown up there and you weren't having a good day and everything, you would be like, oh man, it would take some proper mental strength. So you come in, and then the finish is over here, and they send you off back over here and up the valley, and you do another climb. And I thought I don't need to get the poles out for this one, surely. And it went on for quite a while, and I'm pushing on my legs. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get the poles out now. So poles are out, and the climbing ended up being longer. But anyways, it was stunning. It was absolutely stunning. Yeah, what a day. Yeah, that course was just beautiful.
Have you sort of looked back and looked at what the gap was between you and second then? What was it in the end?
I think it could have been about 15 minutes or something. Yeah, I think he did 12 hours 02, and I think I did 12 hours 17. I might be wrong, but yeah, I think that was right.
Yeah.
So it was about right. So he was definitely on the gas pedal and all.
Yeah,
super strong guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. It sounds like is it one that mere mortals can get into, or is it a difficult race to get into?
Yeah, I think so. I was talking to the hotel owners, and they said that there is a lottery, but I don't know how hard it is to get into. Something else awesome: the hotel owner, she was at the finish, and because she knew she'd seen us eating breakfast and stuff, and then she was like, "Wow!" at me. She had one of them electric. Right, so the hotel's up a hill, and she had them electric bikes.
Yeah.
Like an e-bike. She said, come on, take my e-bike back to the hotel. I'm like, no, come on, it's okay. And she let me ride her e-bike like a mile back to the hotel up the hill. It was awesome. So I didn't have to walk back.
Nice. At least it wasn't like a wheelchair or something that she'd brought down for you.
yeah, exactly.
Amazing. So your adventures in Europe haven't finished then. So when UTMB is August, isn't it? What how many weeks away is that then?
Is it 5? 5, I think. Yeah.
So you've got enough time to recover another block before.
Yeah.
All that.
I can get a 4-week blocking.
So is it which distance is it?
At the 100-mile.
Yeah, the big one, the big boy.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that route?
Yeah. I'm excited for it.
Did you do CCC before? You done? Is that
Yeah, CCC.
Well, this will be
I'm
first go at the big one with it.
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it. The depth of the field there is crazy. So the result, I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to running in the field on the 100 miles. And I did the 100-mile Snowdonia, and I loved that. I just look, it gives you a big day out, doesn't it? So
is that your what's your ideal distance then? Is it 100k or 100 miler that you view yourself as like your speciality?
I'm not actually sure, but I did the 100-mile Snowdonia as like I wanted to do it. I've wanted to do it for a while, but also UTMB is like something I want to focus on in the next few years as well. So it would give me the pass to get to UTMB next year as well, to do the 100-mile Snowdonia, and it went okay, and I felt pretty strong in the later stages of the Snowdonia. So, which was the plan. So I went out at a sort of comfortable pace and tried to pick up the pace in the later of the 100-mile, and but like I don't know whether that could happen again. I'm not sure, and I still need to do a few more 100-milers to see.
Yeah. How does it compare to the other ones that you've done then? So you've done like Snowdonia, the Spine. That's like, what was that, 108 or something, into 108?
Yeah.
How does it sort of compare, the Lakeland 100 and everything? How do they all sort of compare to UTMB? Nation-wise and stuff.
I think the UTS could be pretty similar. The terrain's a lot rougher on the UTS, but you've still got that elevation gain that you have on UTMB, I think. And the distance is the same. I guess the climbs at UTMB will be a lot longer than UTS. So there'll be a lot of smashing the quads in a long descents.
Is that something that you're? What's your speciality? Are you more of a climber or more of a descender? What's your feelings on that?
Probably I'm probably stronger on the descents, but I've this year used poles a lot, and I've got used to them. So I quite like ascent climbing now as well. I like getting in the zone with the poles and driving.
Yeah. It's quite nice, isn't it? I know I'd not used poles until this year, and then I did Challenger North like last month, the summer race, and I'd trained with them, but I'd kind of still didn't really feel that comfortable with them. It just sort of felt a bit alien. But by the end, obviously by the end of 160 miles, you know how to use poles.
You're an absolute wizard with them by then.
It like got to the point where it just felt like I couldn't run without them, and there was no way I was going to forget them at a checkpoint, because they just felt like part of me. And I know what you mean, like with the, you're driving up a climb, it just feels right, doesn't it?
It does. It's great.
One of those things. I was always like thinking, do I really want to use poles? I'd seen people use them in other races and stuff, and I was like, is it cheating? Are they cheat sticks? But there's some races that you'd never get through with that. Well, you would get through them, but you're in a better state at the end if you have used them, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I look back and I think
something like you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Thinking back to pushing on the legs and stuff like that, it's like, and now I think, how would I get round properly with pushing on the legs? But yeah,
even descending, I know I was struggling towards the end of a Challenger North, and something like one of the last descents, just feeling like I was like, my poles are going to snap. I know they are, because they didn't, but they felt like they were going to snap because I was leaning on them so much down the hill, just relying on the strength of them, because my feet were just like absolutely destroyed from blisters. So every step was like hot coals.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, not good, not good. Blisters,
No.
blisters for mile 60, so 100 miles of blisters.
Oh, good effort, Sam.
But apparently there was loads of, when you go on like you on the Spine Facebook page, are you on that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's there was a lot of chatter about people that had done every single race in every single, like, done it in summer and winter, and even ones that had never had blisters before in any Spine race before got them on the summer race for some reason, just because of the perfect storm of it absolutely hammering it down, torrential rain through the first night, and then it being hot for the rest of it.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's made me swell, and it's horrible.
Ouch.
Yeah, so that's a lesson learned for me, because I'm in for the full winter Spine this year.
You're in for the full, yes.
Yeah. so I've got to try and sort my feet out before the end of the year. Did you have any trouble? I don't suppose you had any trouble with the Challenger last year with your feet?
No. That's only the fun run compared to the 160 in the full one, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. There's a few people that wouldn't say that. I suppose they have their own challenges. Each race in each season has got its own challenge, hasn't it? I suppose.
It's just super tough. It was very, very tough. Don't get me wrong. They just bill it as the fun run, don't they? I don't know how you can do that for the 100 a day.
Sprint. The sprint's the fun run.
Oh, now the sprint. Yeah. Now the sprint's the fun one.
Have you got any thoughts on going back to the Spine, doing the full one? Because surely with your expertise and history with the race, it must be something that you've considered going back to do.
Yeah. The full Spine is on the list, but not for a few years. I want to try and focus on these like mountain ultras.
Yeah.
In Europe a little bit more, and then maybe in a few. Well, yeah, I do want to do the full Spine for sure. I love the winter adventure.
Yeah.
Like whether it's like
ideal, isn't it? You're British, you live in the Lake District.
Yes.
it's just the daily weather that you encounter, isn't it?
I work in the rain. I remember just before the Challenger, I was working in like sleet, and I was calling that the specific stage. I remember just working in somebody's garden, telling my boss Richard, I was like, "This has got to be the specific stage of the Challenger, right? It's getting sleeted on."
Yeah, that's it. Specificity. That's the word. Got it right.
Yeah, but yeah, the last bit of the Challenger was really tough. It doesn't sound as tough as you're with the blisters though. I can't complain when you've had blisters for 100 miles.
I mean, it didn't affect everybody. There was a few people that sort of proudly said that they didn't have any trouble, or they only had like one blister and stuff. I think it's such a long race. Like, any of those races are so long that if you get something wrong early on, then you're paying for it, aren't you, for a long time?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. So what are your plans then for sort of blue sky thinking? What are your bucket list races going forward then? So you're concentrating on UTMB now. So is that you're going to be sort of locked into a site? Because I know people sort of get obsessed with that race, don't they? Like Western States in America, people sort of focus on that year in, year out until they've cracked it. Is this going to be your sort of focus then from now on?
I think so. Yeah, I think UTMB is the he's going to be the focus for the next few years, and other kind of 100-mile ones with kind of rough terrain maybe abroad. If I get round UTMB, I'm gonna put my name in the lottery for the Hard Rock 100. Whether I'll get into that, I don't know, but it's something that I would like to do. And if I don't get into that, the Val d'Aran 100-mile.
Yeah,
that looks. I think it's in the Pyrenees. Looks so good. Or is it Andorra? I can't remember. Andorra's in the Pyrenees.
Andorra is the Pyrenees. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, no, Dolomites is Italy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not opposed to doing North American races then?
No. I also do Trans Gran Canaria, the 126k in February.
So is that one you're in for? Is it you're in for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I'm in that.
Yeah, because what you did all right at that one, didn't you? What did you do that last time?
I come 8th at the 80k.
Top 10. Well, how did you find that then? What that kind of racing? Because is it very different terrain? Is it to anything before?
Yeah, it was. It did remind me of like CCC a little bit, like not the environment, but the terrain, like very hard packed trail.
Yeah.
And runnable. Apart from the descent was stunning. From Roque Nublo, it was an absolute beautiful descent, really long. I think that's on the long one as well, 126k. So that'd be awesome.
What about Western States?
Western
States, one of my all-time favorite races.
Really? Have you done it?
No, I've not done it. No, I went over and did a follow cam last year, which I talked about a lot on the podcast and get a lot of abuse for talking about it. But I couldn't go back this year because it was literally the week I did Challenger North, and it was that week, so like June 24th or 25th. So I couldn't go back. I wanted to go back and film again because they asked me to go back and film, and I was like, oh, I really want to go back, but I've got this race that I've got to do because I've got another race that I'm doing in January. So I'm hoping that I'll get the spine out of my system by doing the winter, and that will put me off forever. and then next summer, my plan is to go back. I'd like to go because the week before Western States, there's Broken Arrow Sky Race is
that
on
looks cool.
Before, and that's the weekend before Western States in the same areas where Western States starts, like Tahoe. It's around there, isn't it? Somewhere. So the guy I met out there last year filming, Dan, he was saying if you're going to come over early. Try and get into, if you can get into Broken Arrow, try and do that, and then stay for the week, and then film Western States. So that's the holiday I've planned that the wife doesn't know about. I kind of try to sort of bill it as, I'm working. I'm writing an article for Run Ultra about it. So
it sounds good.
So somehow I'll get out there next year. Yeah, definitely.
That'd be wicked.
Great race. That is great. So what's your plans for between now and UTMB then? Are you out of your recovery phase now then, and you hitting training hard now, are you?
I think so. I'll still take this week a little bit easier, maybe like 90 miles.
That's taking it easy.
So no, I mean,
it's all relative, isn't it? It's all relative.
80 or 90. I guess that's a lower volume than what I was doing before.
Can you sustain that? You know, if you're into sort of like the 150, like you were saying, you're like up to like 115, 120 miles a week. How long can you sustain that in the block?
I'm not sure because I haven't tried it I did a big block through winter around 100 miles, and I was doing it basically week on week for quite a long time actually. Maybe so I did Transvolcania October, maybe started in November, probably got 100 miles in December. I might have done 2 months of around 90 to 100 miles, and then to 100, and I went to 110, so I didn't go below 90.
Wow, that's good.
But then the elevation was a lot less. So I'm not sure if I was doing 110 with 20,000 feet, how many weeks I would be able to do that. I might be asking for an injury as well.
I suppose you don't know, do you, until you get it, do you? But then sometimes, for me, like high mileage is like an 80-mile week, and I know, and when I'm fit and healthy, I know I can sustain that at times. But any more than that, I don't. For me, I'm like early 40s now, so my knees aren't as happy as they used to be. How old are you actually? I didn't ask that.
28.
28, yeah.
Yeah,
so still young.
I mean, also I didn't mean to say taking it easy, on 90 miles. Like it's like I mean, as well before what I was doing before that, I would say that would be an easier week. Would be what I had been doing. So it'll be like a rebuild kind of week, and then next week I'll get back to like over 100 hopefully.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can put in a good block towards UTMB.
Be nice to see you do well there.
Cheers, Sam.
Yeah,
I'll try. I'll try my best.
You best for me.
I'll try my best.
Because we've not really, as like Brits, we've not, how much success have we had at UTMB? Like Damo, what did he get? Did he get fifth? Did he? Was it fifth or did he get
fifth? Yeah, he got fifth, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think Tom Owens once come fourth.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
And Tom Evans has come third, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. So
and Mark came 18th last year.
Yeah. So there's been some Brit action near the front.
Yeah.
Who's in contention this year? Who is it still? We still got Killian and Jim Walmsley trying to crack the code.
Yeah, I just love watching that. I might have to watch it while I'm racing. No, yeah, I think because the Eiger race, Killian did the 16k, and he supposedly needs one more stone to get into UTMB. So I think that's I don't know how true it was, but supposedly that's why he's doing the 16k to get the stone. It's crazy, isn't it? 4 times UTMB win.
I know. To think that he still has to. Well, I suppose that's the good thing about the sport, isn't it? That makes it.
That's true.
It makes it fair, doesn't it? That everyone's still got to put in the work. It's not just a given thing. Although I suppose some races do have like sponsor places, don't they? Like some of the races they can give that sponsors can give out places. But he's got his own brand now, hasn't he? So he can't get any brand places, I suppose.
No, for sure. Yeah,
well,
I think Jim Walmsley, yeah, he should be doing it again. I think Jim Walmsley's dedicated a lot to this race, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's up sticks, hasn't he, and moved house and everything.
Wow, incredible,
that's
right?
Dedication into
that is 100% commitment.
Well, I thought this year actually, I wonder if he was kicking himself a little bit with Western States because it was like an unusually cold, they say, cold year. Like the temperatures weren't as high as they normally are, and it was classed as a cold year. So when it's a cold year, typically that's when like the records are broken, which it was for the women. But Tom Evans, he obviously won, but he didn't break the course record. But I wonder if Jim Walmsley was thinking, I would have broke the record if he'd been in it, because he was always waiting for that perfect weather race when it was cooler to get the record. He's got the record anyway, hasn't he? So But now he's focusing on UTMB and he's obsessed with that, isn't he? Like he was with Western States. He's going to have success eventually if you like dedicate your life to a race. You're going to do it, aren't you?
Yeah. He's been so close as well.
Amazing dedication. Dedication is what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
Well, looking forward to seeing you do well at UTMB. I'll be watching the live stream and everything to see how you get on. So if anyone wants to sort of follow your progress and you running and racing and everything, is the best thing for them to do is sort of I know you've got a website, haven't you? So is that just Josh Wade? Yeah,
and Instagram.
And Instagram, they're the two places for people to get on and follow to see what you're doing. Have you got? Do you want to shout out any sponsors?
The North Face, you owe me.
North Face. So how do they treat you? You get plenty of free stuff from them.
Yeah, they're really good to me. And they're massively supportive of me in the sport. So
yeah, how long have you been with them?
2 years.
2 years, yeah. What's that shoe like? I've seen is it the Vective? Is it?
Yeah, they've got a new one as well. The Summit Pro. It's like got lots of cushioning. It's really comfortable. But I use the Leviton, which is more suited for the. Yeah. But I've actually used it for the UTS as well. It's not got massive amounts of cushioning, but my feet were fine afterwards.
Yeah, you're all right with lower profile stuff.
Lower profile, and you can feel the ground quite well.
Yeah.
So you can descend pretty well.
Yeah, because you can feel everything, don't you?
You can feel most things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, isn't it, about all the the trends of like really heavy, thick soles on stuff. It's nice, but you don't have that same contact with stuff. I know I love for years I've worn Ultras and always worn the Lone Peaks because they're quite a low profile, and you can actually feel the rocks like through the bottom of the shoe. And I know it doesn't sound like it should be a good thing, but it helps, doesn't it, when you're like if you're descending and climbing to just feel it's almost like having an extra pair of hands on the rocks, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Cedus as well. They've helped me with the socks recently.
Oh yeah. So what kind of stuff do they make then?
They do socks and toe protectors, which I have the toe protectors on because my toes are always bashing on descents. This gives them more like cushioning, which is really good actually for the longer races. And they've actually got a place here in Kendal.
Yeah.
It's perfect for sports massages and stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Right. Well, it was lovely to have you on, Josh. I appreciate
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Thanks for having me, Sam.
And having the chat. It's nice to sort of see a bit of your background and listen to your backstory and everything like that. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how you do at UTMB. All the best for that. Thanks
very much.
Hopefully, so when you podium at that, I'll get you back on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know whether that'll happen.
You never know. No. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
Cheers for that. See you.
Thank you very much.